Hey AfterBuzzers, you're watching the Masters of Sex After Show. We're talking Season 4, Episode 6, Family Only. It's a sad one tonight, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We're starting our episode tonight with a little moment of silence in honor of Helen and Betty tonight. So just take a moment to reflect. Unfortunately, tonight was a sad episode, you guys. As much as we would love to open up and makes an addition to our sex playlist, it's just not appropriate tonight. But welcome to our after show. I'm your lead host, Olivia Gabaree. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @thereal_O_G.
I'm Ryann Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham, and then on Instagram at Instagram.
Hi guys, I'm Domonique Price, and if you guys would like to follow me, you can do so on Instagram and Twitter at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
So I don't know how you guys are feeling right now, but the end of that episode seriously just broke my heart, and I can't even think of anything else now besides just...
I'm really sad. I could not even watch the end of the episode. I got up in like abrupt mood to just like go do something else because I am so angry at Helen's parents right now. Like I know that, you know, it's fictional, but I guess I started thinking about all of the parents that this legit has happened to. Because you guys, it actually happens a lot, especially in the time period that we're watching. And I'm really, really hoping that they decide to kind of show what Betty's battle is going to be in her daughter's life. Because, you know, back then, gays didn't have a lot of rights, especially when it came to having children when you don't have a biological connection to the child unless there's agreement set forth ahead of time, which we know that Helen and Betty weren't even thinking of because it wasn't an issue really then. And so it angers me how before Helen died, her parents wanted nothing to do with her. And now that this baby is here and Helen's, you know, passed away, they're right there. Like Helen legit asked for her mom 3 times before she took her last breath, and her mom wanted nothing to do with her. And now you want to swoop in and get this little girl.
It's too late.
I am so angry. But I hope that Betty can be victorious in this fight, and I really, really hope that the writers decide to show us what this journey is going to be for Betty. Because I think this is a huge legal issue that is still something that people deal with today, and so I would like to see them showcase this.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I think this is like probably one of the hardest things I've watched on the show, because you just see Betty's been one of those characters who has come through so much and has had so much growth, and you see that she finally has happiness and she's secure in who she is and she's not hiding anything anymore, and it's like she finally reaches this place and she's trying to help Helen get there, and then it's like Helen finally stands up to her parents and they get it all out there, and then it comes crumbling down, and now Betty is here looking at her baby through glass, and like they're like family, like the name of the episode, Family Only, which if only I would have known that that's what they were, that's what they meant by it. It's like, it's just one of the hardest things to watch. It's just, I don't even know, words can't describe.
Exactly.
It's so sad.
I think the situation's just like unimaginable. I can't even grasp how anyone would ever feel in this type of situation. I mean, being by your loved one's side, like anticipating this child and anticipating this whole entire life, and within a couple of hours everything is just taken from you, and it's like, and you're so helpless. It's like, what can you even do? You have zero control of that situation. Absolutely none.
And zero rights, honestly.
There's like legally nothing you can do.
It's like one of the, there's a legal battle to be had, but it's a very like uphill battle. It's very expensive. And it's emotionally draining. Like you're in the process of like burying your spouse and trying to figure out how to keep your kid. It's really, really sad. I mean, a lot of times you have to wait until the child's a little bit older to start the adoptive process for the parent who's not biologically related. they don't even have
And
that
I
chance
feel
to
like,
get there.
especially in this time period, I think like today's age, there's more of a chance. Like,
For sure.
Exactly.
luckily, like we have
For
come
sure.
so far in our society where, you know, there are LGBT groups. I mean, there were back then too, but like they're more pertinent now. Is that the word? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like
visible
one of the
now.
very first cases that we actually handled in my family law class was a case of I like to say that they were married, two women that were married. The one that was biologically related to the child had died, and the parents came in and took the child. And it was years before she was able to assert her rights as a parent and actually get her kid back. So when I seen this clip tonight, I was just like so enraged because like just knowing what this fight is going to be for Betty is just like excruciating, because like you said, I feel like Betty as a character from the very first like time we met Betty, she has gone through so much.
Oh my
Like
God.
Betty used to work in a freaking brothel.
Yes,
you guys,
legitimately.
like she turned her entire life around after trying to deny herself who she really was. So I just thought it was really crazy, but I know that the writers have a plan. I know that, you know, there's a reason why they're showing this,
Right.
because I feel like they're very intentional with the storylines that they decide to follow. The issues of that time, I think they're really good at like bringing those to light. So
Yeah.
I have hope that, you know, it'll be kind of a victorious moment for Betty. Yeah, if not, I'm coming to find out.
Right. Oh yeah. Hopefully this does turn out to be a good thing. I agree. I think that this will definitely be a journey, a new story arc for
Right.
Betty. And so it will be interesting to see this journey. And like, I agree. let us all pray that this turns out to be a
Right.
positive. Because like,
Well,
wow.
yeah, it's like one thing about the show is everything is extremely set up from the beginning. And we were, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but we like throughout the whole entire episode where we knew that something was off.
Yeah, it didn't feel
You
right.
could just kind of tell they were throwing little hints of things, like especially when Betty was with the receptionist and she wasn't allowed to see because she wasn't family, and she's like, look, like I'm more than just her friend, and that kind of set it up right there. And I especially knew once the nurse came out of the waiting room to talk to Bill and Betty
yeah.
and be like, well, the baby's okay, then it was just like,
Yep, she's
That's it.
I called it. I
you
mean,
did.
like, early. I was
and
like,
that
she's
came
gonna
out of
die.
I
just-
really wasn't even thinking of it. I'm like so naive, whatever, but
I
you're
think they
like,
were in bed. And I was
she's
like,
gonna
she's
die.
die.
Yeah.
It was just something about what they were talking about.
The
I was
mood,
like,
like-
it felt like
off.
this is too happy right now, and like
Yeah.
that's not the way TV works. Game of Thrones has prepared me.
It, like, tarnished you.
Yes.
No, seriously, Game of Thrones, I really feel like will prepare you for
It
the worst
will.
of life.
Oh,
You have something
no.
when everything start going right, you're like, someone's dead. That Game of Thrones has made me feel that way.
I feel like that way in life. It's like
Oh, yeah.
stuff's too
It's
good
too
right
good.
now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what's up?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What's about to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh my
Seriously, when Jon
goodness.
Snow died, I had to walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. No, but tonight's episode was really good.
It was.
I think, to me, I feel like I would have totally reworded like the title of tonight's episode to be more so like fight or flight, because that's what I felt like we've seen more in tonight's episode from, you know, Bill and Virginia. Just
I think that's everyone's
that's
reaction
all
to them.
we have to say.
That's all I got for that. But I
Wow.
thought it was really interesting just like how this entire episode was like set up today. So there's a lot we can talk about, guys.
Yeah, so why don't we move on to, I mean, not necessarily a more positive note, but
The other things that happen.
Something
Yeah,
a little
other
less
things.
heavy.
Yeah.
a little less heavy. So we open up the episode with Virginia being thirsty as
She
ever.
is the entire episode. She's thirsty. Like,
I know, but
please.
it just set up, that set the tone for her storyline for
You
the
know,
rest of the show.
I thought, you know, thoughts on Instagram were thirsty, but Virginia is
But thoughts
taking
were,
it
they
to-
started
They
like,
did.
they had thoughts in the
She
50s
is
too.
the original thought. Like, dang.
She's the OG.
Virginia. Like,
We need to make a meme like Virginia, the
original thought. She
Oh
was.
my god.
She comes in with champagne.
Oh, she
I
was
have
ready. She got the buttons
guys.
down.
She fixed her hair. She put on a fresh coat of red lipstick.
That's when you know.
Buttoned her shirt.
There's one more button. Got it.
And
Looks
said,
good.
"Boo, I got good news."
Right? She comes with champagne in hand. She was like, I just wanted to share the good news. Like,
yeah.
And Beau
Yeah.
said, "I got to go."
Yeah, I have AA. I can't do this.
yeah, he goes, yeah, I have AAA. Next scene, pours
Pours
a
him a
drink.
drink.
I'm like, again, another one.
But I mean, but we do know know that Bill's AA means like not Virginia. I guess it should be AV because it's like anti-Virginia. Because that's it. That's what it is. He is trying to have nothing to do with her.
But
like,
I didn't.
Strictly business.
Was like, so the last episode ended with them together, right? They were holding hands.
But then the very next scene, he was in the AA meeting giving a speech. Oh,
right.
No, you're right. Because it went back to them being in the courtroom. Because I remember that there was like that juxtaposition of him being in the AA meeting, talking about her being his drug, essentially. But you're right, they did also have that holding hands at the press conference.
Did you guys anticipate them being together, or did you kind of figure that he wasn't going to go for it?
No, I didn't see them necessarily being together. I feel like it's going to be a very long road before we do see them back together again. I think that Virginia still has, like I said last week, has a lot of growth to come around to like understanding where Bill even is as a person. You know, I look at people who have been married like 50 years and I'm like, dang, how did you like go through those roller coasters of life changes together? Because I think that's really hard. And I think what we've been seeing this season with Bill and Virginia is that they're in the process of not being at the same place at the same time. Like, I think Bill has done a complete 360 with how he socializes with people, how he's able to tap into his true emotions and just really being able to empathize with the people around him. And I think those were the hurdles that I think we needed to see Bill come over. Virginia's still at the same place she was, you know,
season 1. Well, I mean,
well,
maybe
I would say season 2,
yeah.
like a good season 2. And I feel like she is just now getting to the point where like she's being a little bit less selfish. I think Bill did what he did as far as that court case for Virginia.
Right.
I think he was able to put aside a practice that he's built from the ground up, a work that he feels so passionate about for Virginia. Virginia's not there yet where she can be selfless.
It took the word right out of my mouth.
And we see that. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
And we see that like several times because she constantly is trying to block Bill and Nancy's relationship. And I feel like every time Bill does anything, she's in his ear, trying to be there and be in his presence. And it's like she tries to take control of everything. And she's
very vindictive.
She is. Even when they were treating Bob, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so right. I know what I'm doing." And it's like she never takes time to even listen to other people. She's just so sure she's right.
And that was a trait that Bill was struggling with throughout the whole entire beginning of the show. He always wanted to be right. He always wanted to have control, and now Virginia has taken that on. But I think, I mean, as we see, he goes through this whole entire thing with AA, and he applies things that he learned to his relationship with Virginia.
Right.
And he's finally realizing that this isn't right for him and this isn't going to help him move forward as a person. And I can't believe it, but I'm actually pretty proud of him that she's literally throwing her. She's being so persistent, will not give up, and he's just not giving into it. He's over it.
She gave him the keys to their old hookup spot, and he was like, "No, I'm sorry."
After he swerved her like 12 times
I know,
previously,
and he had to finally like flat out say no. Like he's like, "I can't." And then it was a sad moment, but it was a great moment for Bill. He was like, "You don't love me. Like you love me right now. You are very much about what is convenient to you right now." And I think Virginia needed to hear that. Someone needed to check her because she is very much about what is best for her at that moment. And she does not care who's in the way, who she has to cut down. And it's like she's become such a character.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've kind of talked about this since the beginning of this season, that Virginia kind of needs a wake-up call, and I'm wondering if this is going to be it for her. I think she had like a big like, what? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I'm what? Yeah. Like, it was like all in her face. Like, I think she was really taken aback by like his comments. Like, I don't think she's seen that whatsoever. And I think at least I'm hoping, I'm like not a prediction yet, but I'm hoping that this is like the wake-up call that she needs to kind of be like, okay, if I really do want to make this work with Bill, I need to get me together first, because I feel like that's what Bill has been doing this entire season. Like, he's becoming a whole person, and Virginia is very much still like broke.
Right. But I can't tell. I mean, she sort of had a little bit of a breakthrough after this conversation with Art, Nancy, and Bill. Remember, she kind of she was feeling guilty about everything, and she just like laid it all out for us. She was like, you know, like I chose the wrong door when I lied to you about Dan. I just make all these wrong choices. But I still feel like it's not very genuine.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was a breakthrough. I think it was her attempting to persuade Billy. I think almost everything she did this episode was an attempt to appear
she's like
to have
swindling
changed.
him.
Yeah, she's trying to seduce him, and I think that was all her trying to say the right things to get Bill
the right
to get
thing at the
back.
right time.
Like, I don't think it had anything to do with how she really felt. I think it was very much about let's get Bill.
I honestly think it gets back to the point of her not getting to a place like where she can be selfless. Like, if we think about everything she did in tonight's episode with throwing herself at Bill, coming to Bill with good news, trying to tell Bill, like, okay, basically you love me, like, faults and all. It was very much about her. And I think being in a relationship, at least a solid foundation one, like, it's not necessarily about me. It's about you and doing something and, you know, wanting to care for you in a manner that you need to be cared for. She's doing all the things that would appeal to Virginia.
Right.
I mean, this man just graduated AA and she's showing up at his door with some champagne.
Yeah,
I'm like, mistake number one.
Yeah, it's not like you didn't know he was an AA.
Come on.
Get out.
Like, what have you done?
Support your man.
Right. Like, what have you done that speaks to Bill today and not Bill 2 years ago?
No. She just needs to be present. She needs a reality check. She's living in the past and it's time to move forward.
And where are her kids?
Where are anyone's
don't
children?
know.
She has a baby.
She does.
Like, that baby is like legit not one.
I know.
I mean, whatever.
Where are the kids?
Right.
Where are any of the children? Like,
yeah, like
legitimately, where are
Bill's
anyone's
children.
kids? We've at least seen
let's
Bill's
go to
in
Bill. Bill pretends to go to AA and ends up in
at
Libby's
house,
living room. And yet again, Libby's like, you scared me and the dog.
But not the
Where
children.
are the kids?
The kids
You
don't
think
care.
you would like want to come over to see the kids, not to watch the like?
But just with Libby,
Yeah.
not the family.
Okay, like come on, Bill.
Where are your kids?
What? I don't know. I feel like they have just written these kids out. They're all at boarding school. Let's imagine.
Yeah, probably boarding
Okay,
school.
let's write the kids off. All the kids are.
I'm just gonna go
Even
ahead and assume we're not gonna see the kids anymore. They're gone.
They are. I don't know what they did. Maybe they're at the nudist colony. Okay, can we dive into Libby for just a second?
Yeah.
Because
Can we talk about how she came for Bill's neck once again today?
She is
In the
sassy
living
as
room?
hell.
She sure. I love it. I'm living for new Libby.
No, I do. I am
love
too,
it.
but
I
I
do
feel
love
like I think that she feels like she has something to prove.
Yeah, I think she absolutely does.
But
I
which she
but here's
does
the
kind
thing.
of.
I feel like she's not I don't feel like it's a bad approval because I don't think she's trying to prove it to anyone else. I think she's trying to
Herself.
prove it to herself.
Yeah.
I think Libby has never known who Libby is, and now that she's like trying to like rediscover who that is, or discover for the first time, I should say, I think she's surprising herself. Like, I just think that like she's saying things that she's never said before, acting in a manner she would never act. She's not trying to be polite, like polished Polly. Like, she's really just like through it, like, because she doesn't care anymore. And I think that's so dope. Like, she's not trying to fit into like a mold anymore. Like before, it was like baked.
I respect
She was Betty Crocker. She was trying to be Betty Homemaker, and I love that. You're right. She is definitely stepping out and trying to do new things. And I love when they were at she went, her and Bram going to date, and that's awesome that she asked him out. She wasn't waiting for him. She's like taking control of her life, which I'm like, finally. And she goes and she like talks, when I volunteered at this thing, and she gives great legal advice. So it's awesome to see this relationship between her and Bram become this fun new like they're
It's a
hot
totally
couple.
Different dynamic.
They're a hot couple.
I think it's totally different this time around because it's almost like she's becoming his equal, whereas Bill was always above her and she was always doing things to try to like please him and you know make him want her, and that's very much not the situation anymore. And just because it didn't start that way. Like, she started off very much like as an independent person, letting him know like, this is who I am, this is what I'm trying to be, like I'm taking control, and then it just moved on from there.
I loved in this little storyline how she was so assertive with what she wants in a relationship and what she wants out of a relationship, and I was just like, big ups to you.
I think everybody should start off because if you don't say anything, like no one can read your mind.
It's so true.
Next first date, Dominique's gonna be at the table like, this is what I want. Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue dinner?
Don't waste my time.
I brought a contract. Here's my Here's my 10-year plan. I just want you to be ready and let you know.
It's a good idea.
It was interesting because I feel like at first Bran was like, yo, like, I didn't say nothing about marriage. Like, you are getting a little ahead of yourself. But I think when you've spent so many years like unhappy, you're just like, I don't have any more time.
You just cut the BS.
And she said it in previous episodes. She said, I spent my best years on Bill. She was saying it to Bill. So I think that realization is here now. She's like, I don't have this time anymore. And I think when she took her clothes off and walked around and did that nude walk, it was literally her shedding. Like, I think that was the last step, and she shed all of old Libby.
That's
and
very.
I think this exactly
that.
was symbolic. It was her being like, you know what? No, that girl is gone. And
she said it right there. She was like, I'm surprising myself these days. And I was like, yes.
Okay.
Didn't you? I felt like I got goosebumps. I was living through her. I was like, yes, let's do this. I was so feeling it.
God, but yes, I'm excited to see where that really. I wish nothing but the best for those two. I'm saying like they're real people.
Yeah, it's like
no, that's my issue, you guys. I get way too emotionally invested in the characters of the shows I like, because today I felt like on a roller coaster.
Yeah. This whole
it does get hard. I don't know, but I mean, what are you gonna? I see them as they're gonna be a little something.
They are. I'm excited for them. And then
I think it'll last.
Oh, I think this is Libby's.
Well, that's the thing. At first, I really was thinking, this situation was going to be like a hit it and quit it. They were gonna like mess around for a little bit. But in tonight's episode, I feel like you've seen like this glimmer in Bran. Like when she comes back, of course she's naked and she has a hot body, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. But he was kind of looking at her like, I really like see something
because
here.
She's so different, and she takes. I feel like, especially a lot of the women like that we see of that time, it's just like she's making a breakthrough, and maybe that's not something he is used to, and like the women that he had been seeing.
And I think even when they're at the dinner table and she brought up the legal advice, the way he was looking at her,
like,
even then he was like,
smart.
Okay, like I think even in that he had a glimmer in his eye. Was like, oh, and then she goes, "You make." Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
She goes, "You guys make a good pair." The people they were talking to, and I'm like, "Yeah, you guys
hair flat,
do."
right? But you could see right before that, you could tell. He didn't see that at first because he almost tried to save her. He wanted to cut her off because he knew that they were gonna, attack her for what she was about to say, and he just made the assumption that she wasn't educated enough to stand up for herself and defend herself. But she laid it down, goes, and good, rightfully so. Like, good for her.
And she knew her stuff, which and it was an idea and a concept that he hadn't even thought of yet, which I thought was so like, yes, boo.
Yeah.
But what I loved about it was that, in this time, and I think, you kind of were speaking to this point, is that a lot of women were like seen and not heard. Like, and that was the role that she played when she was with Bill. She was kind of like just his arm candy. Yeah. And I think tonight she was just like, if that's what you're looking for, it ain't me.
It's not. Yeah, you need to keep going. And I love that. And the thing is, I love that Bram seems to be also here for it. He seems like he's like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, so. I think that's why he kind of made the point when they got back to the room, like, yo, I don't want to, move too fast because that's what I normally would do because I like you. And she's like...
Yeah, she's like, save it.
She's like, good, I'm glad.
Thank you, but no thank you.
But she was so funny because she wanted to like be sassy and stick up for herself, but we were both saying when she was laying in that bed with her eyes open, she's like, I messed up.
Because she told him, I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, well, whatever.
Right? And so that's what got me thinking about this whole like fight or flight mentality. Yeah. Because I feel like it's easier to walk away from situations than it is to fight, because I feel like in order to fight, like, you really have to be vulnerable because there's a chance that you could lose. Yeah. And I think in that first instinct, when she first went to bed, her first instinct was like to walk away and to kind of go for his jugular, like, never mind. I'm cool. I'm going to sleep now. But knowing she was pissed on
classic check. We all done that before.
And so I think like her coming back and being kind of like a little bit more like, okay, no, actually, like, this is what I'm looking for. Like, take it or leave it. I felt like that was her way of being like, okay, I'm going to fight now. Like, I'm either going to, like, put it out there and see what happens. And then, whatever. Because I feel like that's what her biggest takeaway was with Bill. Like, they could have actually been great had she have been vulnerable enough to just be like, yo, like, this is what I'm missing in this marriage. Like, can we, like, overcome this? which I would love if they did kind of like a spin parallel what could have
happened,
like
writers
episode one day. Like I have
Just a
so many ideas.
suggestion.
You can tweet me Domonique P_ESQ, slide in there. But like I just think it would be so dope to see, like, I don't know if you guys remember, it was season 1 and they have sex and Libby is so like almost frightened, almost like it was so robotic, and she's just sitting there and she's just kind of like limp body.
It's uncomfortable to even like witness.
So like seriously, it made me very uncomfortable because it just looked like an unwanted situation.
Well, because they never had sex like for having sex. They would just like do it to make babies.
Right, and so
they were like timing it.
Yeah, it's like now lay there for 5 hours.
Right,
like,
and so
relax.
Libby was asking like Bill questions about his study, like, okay, well, like almost kind of like, can we try some stuff at home? But she stops herself when Bill like kind of like dismisses her. And so I would have loved to have seen like how this couple would have evolved if like she would have just said like, this is like what I want. But in the same sense, like when you aren't experienced, she didn't know what to want. And Bill over here now has all this research and this understanding of sex because he didn't know himself, and he doesn't bring that back home to her. And so I just would love to see what could have happened had they have communicated a little bit better.
Maybe she could have taught him a thing or two.
Because she got all the tricks now. I'm still trying to figure out where they came from.
Right?
She's been reading some magazines. I don't know. But
She read his book.
She did. She probably read the
She
book.
probably read the book. She probably did. So, you know, as she's getting into a more equal relationship, there's a lot of other people in this show that their relationships just aren't equal. Like we see Nancy and Art, for instance. We're still seeing that he's very like behind and like standoffish, whereas she like takes control and she kind of dictates the way the relationship works.
Right. And
it's only because Art hasn't spoken up and said anything, but we see that he kind of is very uncomfortable with it right off the bat when he and Virginia are having dinner.
Right.
And they're speaking about how Nancy is with her friend Bruce from college. And it's very clear that he's uncomfortable with that situation.
And he's uncomfortable with everything about their relationship.
Yeah, and it's like he is sort of the, I mean, I don't want to say he's the old Libby, because I feel like something behind him seems a little bit more sinister, but he's Libby in the sense that I feel like he does not fully open up to Nancy.
Exactly.
It's not even
that.
I find their relationship to be a tad bit uncomfortable to watch. Just because it seems almost as if like he's afraid to be honest because he's afraid to lose her.
Okay. Well, that's like Libby as well in the beginning.
Yeah, it was, but almost to like a very kind of like sick way. I feel like in Libby's point, like Libby didn't know better. Like she, like Bill was her first, like it was her first real relationship. Art knows better, and he knows that how he, like he's a psychiatrist, like, so he knows, you know, that what you're doing with Nancy is extremely unhealthy for both of you, and it's some kind of like sick like game obsession almost. Or game, I don't know, but something about it like really weirds me out, and I don't know if it's just me being able to like foresee that there's just like turmoil in that whole relationship, but it really creeps me out. You saying that makes me have a new perspective on the conversation that Art had with Lester. Because when Art originally said, because Lester admits that he's been following Jane and seeing her, he's been watching for 18 months. And when he originally says, if you've been watching her for 18 months, then that's your thing, you're a watcher. And I thought he was coming at Lester and being an ass. But maybe it was him like saying like, hey, we're not so different. Like, it was him not only labeling Lester that, but like in some subtle way being like, me too, because he knows what she's doing. I think it was his way of saying, me too, I see you, I feel what you feel, I'm not okay with this either, but he did it in a very asshole like way.
Yes, the manner in which he said it was awful. It was horrible. Like Lester legit was like, I don't know who else to ask, and I know that you're technically in a situation where you know your wife is having sex with other people. How do you do it? Like, he legit needed like a hand, you know, right there. And I feel like Art, once
again is so sick and twisted in whatever the situation that him and Nancy have going on, that he isn't being 100% honest, like, within himself. And then when we see him, like, make up this beyond stupid story to Nancy, I'm sitting there like, dude, if you don't go find someone's couch to sit on, because you like, I'm still on my serial killer. Like, Art creeps me the freak out.
Well, there's something a matter, like, he's I don't know. I think that anybody that has the ability to make up a story in detail is a sick person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing about it is,
sick.
it's like, I'm like, what is your game? Why
What's the
are you,
motive?
like, what are you lying to? Like, you were clearly lying to her, but you also, like, told the truth in front of Virginia. And I'm like, I literally cannot. He's one of the most difficult characters to figure out. I cannot figure him out.
Like I told you guys, he reminds me of Hannibal Lecter.
I mean,
like,
him being a murderer would not surprise
there's
me.
something in his, like, mannerisms, like, he's so two people. Like, I feel like
It's very scary.
The person that he was with Virginia that night, so open and so vulnerable, tad bit calculated but still open, was a totally different person than the person he switched into when Nancy was like, just tell me the truth. That, like, whatever just
He's
like
sick.
washed over his face, I was like,
Anybody that can seriously live like a double life and present their character in two completely different ways, like,
wrong.
there's something the matter with you. And
maybe he's a Gemini.
I'm a Gemini.
I mean, I don't know, maybe, but it really speaks to his character that he can create this entire fantasy and just play it off as real, like it isn't a thing.
But I guess, yes, I agree with you there. But maybe he had that fantasy of what he wanted. Virginia. I'm saying maybe that's what he wanted Virginia to do,
or he wanted Nancy to do.
No,
Nancy.
I feel like he needs Nancy to need and want him.
Yeah.
And Nancy doesn't.
So is that why you think he's is that what you think his motive is for pretending that he slept with Virginia?
Well, yeah, Virginia is someone that gets under Nancy's skin extremely.
Clearly.
And so I think Nancy kind of feels threatened by the fact that, you know, Virginia has brought Art any type of pleasure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was her way of being like, well, I can do it better than she can, like, wipe her out of your brain.
Yeah.
And that satisfied Art in a very sick and twisted way.
And I feel like, the
Who
way...
is he going to kill? That's my question. Who done it?
I don't know. Hopefully not Guy.
Poor Sheen. He's just an innocent bystander to this nonsense.
But no, I feel like because Nancy also comes at Art in all kind of crooked ways. I feel like
I know.
The way she yelled at him about deleting those tapes, which we find out that they were. It
Which
appeared they were
I
trying
think
to
were
steal.
stupid. I didn't think that it was anything.
They sound like they were trying to steal the patients.
Well, yeah, but I mean, don't nobody think that you aren't.
Right,
You know?
that's true, yeah, you're
Clearly,
not-
Virginia
Yeah.
already thinks you are. You're trying to. So I'm like, I just felt like it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I mean, they didn't say anything that wasn't untrue. Like, they're not married to
Yeah,
each
that's
other,
valid.
at least. So maybe there is a value. Sometimes I feel like instead of trying to, and I think Nancy, as much as I'm not sure if I like your character or not, I really did love her speech in the bathroom about how women kind of come after each other when there's enough space for us all at the end. Like,
so felt
as
her.
a
Shine
woman
theory.
who's like been
I know, get some popping up.
right, you got something just really weird in the background. As someone who's like been in the corporate world, like, I see it so much where women are so like cutthroat and they don't want to see you like succeed in the business world. And I think I was really frustrated that Virginia is continuing on such like a horrible stereotype that women can't get along.
Especially because it happened to her. Like,
Right.
on her way up, and even still today, I'm sure, like, people undermine her credentials because she's still not a doctor. So, like, I mean, like, and even when she was having that speech with Nancy, I was waiting for, I mean, thank God Nancy didn't, because I think she's above it, but I was waiting for Nancy to be like, I'm sorry. And I guess she did kind of undercut her.
She did.
She goes, but Bill told me that he did that. And that
Rightfully so, like she should have.
I thought I was going to have to come through that screen. Like, I realized that things don't happen like this to me because I would have been like, the taste. You guys, she would no longer have taste
I was
buds.
thinking that
You guys,
too.
verbatim, Virginia said to Nancy, Nancy said to
Yeah, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
My nurse. So
ooh.
Nancy said to Virginia, I just want to know where to stand. And Virginia had the gall to respond with, wherever I tell you to stand. That broad would not have made it out that bad.
Someone should have snatched her.
But it shouldn't have even gone to that point, because if I understand that it's her boss, whatever, but it's like, me personally, I can only bite my tongue for so long,
right.
you know? And it's like, if you're seriously going to sit there and disrespect me to my face, and I can't, I'm not just going to sit there and eat it. Like, no.
I didn't get this MD for nothing.
Exactly. And it's very clear that they don't get along, and it's almost just like, this is not a positive environment. There's no room for you to succeed. Why are you still there?
Like, and the other thing that's annoying about it is that it's all over a man. Like, basically.
But they're both fighting over men that each other aren't even going after.
Right.
That's the crazy part.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
Virginia's so worried about Bill. Nancy doesn't care about Bill.
But I had to.
Virginia.
Let's be real. Like, how many times have you had to tell a girl, like, I don't want your man? Like,
it's like
you're
that
upset,
song.
but I don't want your man, boo boo. Like,
I don't want your man.
You can have him. He is yours.
Yeah, like,
God, get out.
Real.
But
so
this goes
real.
back to communication. Like, if Virginia really told Nancy what her issue was with her, and Nancy was real with Virginia and said, this is what it is, this would be squashed in 2 seconds. But people don't know how to talk to each other.
Especially girls, and especially in that situation.
Ugh,
But
that's so annoying.
I can't believe she trapped her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I feel two completely separate ways about Nancy's character. It's like her relationship with Art. I almost can't stand her, because I think that she's just like so condescending and so she's just very rude to him, and she's very mean to him. But with her situation with Virginia, I am behind her 100%, and I want to smack Virginia because she is so annoying and so condescending to her, and it's like she's so mean and rude for no reason, just because she's jealous.
Do we think that Nancy deserves it from the type of treatment that she's giving to Art? Because karma is a bitch.
Yes and no. I still don't feel. I feel like Virginia is being like extremely rude. Like,
no, we're talking about karma here.
Oh. Well. But
wait, can I ask you why did she lock the bathroom door?
Because she was the only other woman in the office.
And yeah, because she knew. Well, I mean, yeah, just petty. She's petty.
That
Virginia
is petty. Petty
Virginia
queen,
is petty
Virginia.
Queen. She's a petty queen. Always a petty queen.
Imagine, like, what does that solve? So she can't use the bathroom? Like, okay, good for you.
Because Virginia is ugly. Like, she's not like physically, but she is an ugly person.
Seriously, her insides are ugly. Like, who does that?
She was like, can you go get Art?
Yeah.
And she just sat there, and she was like waiting. My blood would have been boiling. I was like, oh my God, here we go.
I thought Bill was going to come out of his skin. He was so uncomfortable because that was so inappropriate.
Exactly. And I almost felt bad because it's like Virginia is telling the truth, but like you've told so many lies that who is going to believe you now?
Well, sometimes it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Like, I just didn't think that was like appropriate whatsoever. Like, she could have excused Bill because that didn't have anything to do with him.
None.
But
like,
she wanted
to embarrass Art and Nancy.
Well, she wanted to embarrass them, and she also, how is she going to let this guy that she's trying so hard to be with go off thinking that she like slept with someone else,
because
and
she
especially
slept with all of St. Louis, Las Vegas, and in between.
I mean, no kidding, but she's trying to get this guy back, and who the heck is going to take you back when you're sitting there like talking about someone that you had sex with? You know what I'm saying?
And I think that I think that Bill is trying to keep it professional, and her sleeping with Art would be like,
she's just ripping the whole entire thing apart.
Like, but neither here nor there. I feel like Virginia is coming to a rude awakening. I don't know. I feel like,
well, she's in the midst of it. She really is.
She's on a train going straight to
Can I
hell.
ask you guys, do you think that she genuinely loves Bill, or do you think that she's just, as he said, he's not pursuing her anymore, so now she wants it?
part of me wants to believe that she loves him, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't even know if she knows what.
I don't think she even knows if
I
she
don't
loves
think
him.
she knows. I don't think she's capable at this
point,
moment to love Bill
or anyone,
for that matter, because I don't think she loves herself.
Yeah. No, you are so right.
Self-love is where it begins.
You are so right about
Self-love. I believe that.
Yeah, I'm here anytime, guys. Just spewing out good
Dropping some
information.
knowledge.
that. Drop them.
That's what I do.
And so, I mean, we can go into predictions, but I especially wanted to ask you guys what you thought was in store for Bob.
Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about the case.
Talk
Let's go
about
here.
Virginia.
Trying to
puts
out
me
this
off
man.
here.
Yeah, I'm like, she's like really pushing for him. Oh, so how many men have you slept with? And it's like,
Well,
oh, wow.
she even presented it to Bill like we can get the truth out of him, and it's like, is that your motive?
Yeah, like what is
No,
your...
she's
Like,
just,
why is that your job to get the truth out of him? Not necessarily.
here's my thought. I feel like the old Bill was all about this practice. Everything he ate, breathed, and slept, this practice. And I think because she hasn't really gotten to understand who this new Bill is, she's trying to figure out how to insert herself in anything within the practice that aligns with him, because she thinks that's the way back to his heart.
Okay.
And it's not.
No.
And I think we've seen that in today's episode, where she kept trying to insert herself into, like, look what I did for the book. I need to be into this because, you know, he groped me. Like, it's like, is that really going to get Bill back at this point?
Well, everything's about. She turns everything to be about her.
Selfish.
Exactly.
She's very selfish.
So, I think that Virginia's pushing is going to be the demise of this man and the demise of his relationship.
Or Bill. Oh no, Bob and his fiance. Yeah, I feel like he's going to have to come out. I mean, like at this point, the way that they're pushing it, I think he's going to have a break. And I think that the fact, and we haven't talked about Bart being back, so Barton's back.
Well, because that was just random.
mean,
Writers,
well.
Do you think that they
I
just-
ride for y'all, but
Yeah.
Maybe
you guys left him off on a dinner a whole entire season ago, and now he's just back to deliver
Well,
a baby.
they needed him to
that.
deliver the
yeah,
baby.
he came back. But
Put him back in there better.
But wait, do we
the
not-
development for that was a little.
But what I'm saying,
wishy-washy.
I agree, it was interesting how it happened. But now we have so two out gay characters, and then we have Bob, who is this conflicted gay character, potentially gay character. I mean, he
doesn't even know that he is. Well, he doesn't want to.
But
Yeah,
I
he
feel
wants
like
to get rid of
I
it.
feel like
so.
with Bob, the story that I feel like they're trying to go, and maybe this is a prediction, but I feel like the story that they're trying to allude to is that I feel like whether it's experimenting or, you know, abuse that you go through as a child, like there's some situations that you go through that you may feel like maybe pushing you into one sexual direction over the other, but it's more so just something that you need to work through and you can get over it. Like, I know several people who have like had one-offs or, you know, an unfortunate situation to have happen to them as a child, which made them think one way or the other, but after counseling, they were like, "Oh, okay, that's
come to
really
the realization
that that's not the case." And so I thought that maybe because we already have so many amazing, like, outwardly gay characters on this show, that they're trying to like show a different facet to something.
Right.
That's what I feel like they're trying to do with him.
I think it was a really good line. I forget exactly how it opened, but how Bill said, like he was suffering from it, and like your like sexuality and relationships and whatever is supposed to bring you, I don't know exactly how he worded it, but pretty much it's supposed to bring you like pleasure and joy, and this situation is bringing him misery and like making him suffer, which it could be setting up for something like that.
Yeah, he said all desires aren't what they seem to be.
Right.
So
I feel like that was also him talking about him and Virginia.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
true.
They're
But
always
yes,
yes.
it applies to both
always,
situations.
always.
The irony, right?
always.
You know.
But no, I guess I can understand that, like, especially in the time period, it's just sad to see someone Bob's age, he's got to be in his 50s, and have gone his whole life, even because maybe he's not gay, maybe he's not, but if he is, it's just sad to see someone go their whole life fighting who they are and feeling sick by what they are, and like never truly being themselves. And I feel like that's just an unhealthy way to live. And there are people to this day, like there are people to this day that like just because of their family or because of XYZ, they're like they'll never come out because it to them that will be the end, and it's like no, like
right. And I really just, regardless of what comes out with Bob, I just want him to get free.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like he is trapped in
whatever it is.
this
For
box.
sure. He's trapped in himself.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm excited to see how that
pans out.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have any other predictions in regards to any other?
I'm afraid that we may see another suicide attempt from Barton.
Oh, whoa, really?
Did you see his face
Oh, 'cause
as he was
yes,
washing
yeah.
out
I
that
agree. He was very
blood?
upset by it. Yes. I don't see. Part of me, and I think this is just me. I want this to happen. I want Guy and Barton to be together because
I'm here for that.
I'm like, oh, I would just like that would just make my heart so
I'm
happy.
totally here
And
for
I
that.
just feel like that would be a cute.
But
like,
I
little,
also want Barton
little
to
thing.
be a little bit more comfortable with his sexuality.
And maybe because Guy is
Yeah.
he's comfortable with himself, so maybe
Right.
It'll help him.
Yeah. be with
I just
someone who's
think he's
comfortable.
probably like within the next couple episodes, he's gonna go through it. Like he's gonna
yeah.
be going through some hard
Maybe.
stuff.
Surprisingly, Betty and Guy will help him through his guilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I know,
Interesting
writers.
perspective.
Right, I know, right? Oh, that makes me happy. But yes, I'm curious to see what happens to Betty. I just really want her to be happy.
Me too. I don't know if we'll see another love for Betty,
Yeah.
but I just want something that brings her joy.
Maybe her baby is like that is the love, like
Yeah.
a different type. But
Well, that's her like that's the part of Helen that
Yeah.
she
Oh.
has. You know what I'm saying?
hopefully this baby sticks around because all
I
babies
really
tend to
hope so.
disappear
They
in
do.
this show.
Yeah,
They're all
Yeah.
at boarding school, some mythical
Yeah.
place.
Newborns can't go to boarding school, so
know.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Babies
They're a
tend to
wizard
disappear.
school.
Yeah, exactly. Any predictions from you?
I think that I want to see if there's like a storyline that we haven't hit on yet. Oh, what about the Clavermores?
Oh yeah, I wonder what is going to happen with them. They were the
Everyone
ones that
seems
they
so
stole the
stressed
art.
out about their situation that like it has to turn into something.
Well, Virginia did mention that these are the type of clients that become donors, and so they sound like just a big high
Rich
profile couple that you know they wanted to kind of finesse a little bit,
Right.
give them the best care possible.
Makes sense.
But I did think it was interesting that the whole scheduling flip-flop. I mean, court cases don't just like pop up, so I feel like that would have been on the schedule
Yeah.
for some time. And so I would like to see like if they do some investigation work, if come to find out Nancy like had it scheduled on that day on purpose, because it just seemed a little odd that they just randomly had been
True.
They just showed up.
misscheduled.
It just like worked in their
yeah,
favor.
because they don't live anywhere close by, so I thought that was just like really weird.
I agree. I didn't think about it that way, but that doesn't make any
It didn't
sense.
make any sense.
Like, why would that
Then
happen?
again, they weren't using like any kind of
Technology,
savvy
that's true.
calendar, so
Right. Yeah, I think the clock's definitely. My prediction is that the clock's ticking for Nancy and Virginia. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna pull
I
someone's
like
hair.
Nancy.
I do.
Interestingly
I like
enough,
Nancy.
but Art,
Serial killer, definite.
Serial killer.
he's watching you guys.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who he kills first.
Mini
All I
victim.
can hear is like Jason, like
Oh my God! Stop it. Maybe that will be like the Halloween episode.
that's
Yeah.
what I was just about to say. He goes berserk and
Yep.
kills someone in the
my
office.
God.
Who will it be?
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. Oh, Barton.
If one person has to go, who's going?
If we have to kill someone in the
If
office,
Art has to kill
Virginia.
someone.
I hope.
It's not
I know
gonna-
it's
it's not gonna
but
be
I-
It's not gonna be Virginia.
I hope it's
Maybe
her.
he kills like Lester or something.
Oh God, he's gonna kill Lester.
God, no
You put that out
Lester.
there. Lester's dead now.
Bye.
Lester's
No, I'm just
so
kidding.
right. No,
But
you're
he's just like so flustered and so all over the place.
Do you think him
Maybe
and
and
he'll
being
kill
creepy as
Jane.
hell?
Yeah,
I would be okay with
For
that.
Lester.
Kill Jane.
Because Jane is like his Nancy.
Yes.
And he's like
Okay, prediction.
symbolically killing.
Art is going to kill Jane.
in the name of Nancy.
In the
He's
name
gonna
of
try,
Nancy.
like,
He's
Nancy.
gonna call her
With the
Nancy as he's
assistance
killing
of Lester's stalking habits.
Pause. What about Lester's new lover? I mean, we don't know where she is, but he has the number.
I need
don't
you to stop
know.
talking about this lover.
I know.
because
You
have brought
really
her
want
up.
Foxy and Lester to
I
happen.
do. Does no one else want Foxy and Lester to be a
I mean,
thing?
I want it to be a thing, but he's still caught up.
Yeah.
He ain't ready.
Okay, yeah, he's
Not
not.
ready
He's
for
not.
Fox.
He
Foxy's
wasn't
thriving.
ready.
Foxy probably will break him.
Yeah, she's not about. If she ever found out, I feel like she She put the kibosh on that one.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
No.
I do want Foxy and Lester.
I could see Lester dying.
Oh my god.
No, legitimately, I'm like, if
No,
someone
I
in the
really.
office
That's
has
why
to
I
die,
said that. Like it would
made
probably
me
be
sad
Lester.
because I feel like Lester doesn't deserve it. But
No, he doesn't
He will be the
deserve
one.
it.
He seems like the
he
candidate.
will be the one to
But
go.
Art was throwing so much shade at him that it's just bound to happen.
Poor thing. Oh god. Oh.
We can't handle
Not
this
another
emotional
death. We
roller
really
coaster.
can't.
It won't be as emotional as Helen, I promise.
No, that
Oh
one-
yeah, no, definitely not. I'll probably get over Lester by the next like commercial break, but
The
it'll be
thing
fine.
about Helen's death, though, I think it was because nothing except this episode led us to believe that was happening.
Yeah.
Like if you look at everything else in the season, you were just like, oh, okay, whatever, they're together. And then this episode specifically made me go, yep, she's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like just something about it.
For me, I know this is going to sound bad. It wasn't so much of Helen dying. It was her parents coming back to take the baby that sent me over the edge.
Oh yeah. So you were more angry than sad.
Oh, I was pissed.
I mean, I was angry too, but I think it was just sad. Like, ugh, I think but angry also. So.
Can't wait for next week.
emotions. Yeah, I really can't wait for next week. Do you guys have any final thoughts? You ready to wrap?
No, I think we're good. I'm good.
I don't got anything else.
Yeah, so send us your predictions and comment on our video, on our podcast. Like us, give us some stars, preferably 5 stars.
Why not
or
5?
10. Or 10.
Is 10 a
It only
possibility?
goes up to 5.
Anything's possible with God. Anything's possible with God. So
True.
10 stars.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. I'm your lead host, Olivia Gabaree. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G.
Awesome. I'm Ryann Graham. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham and on Instagram at Instagram.
And I'm your favorite host,
Hey.
Domonique. And you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.